Hey guys, Jingraves here, doing another manga review for you guys. So this is actually another one of my favorites, um, but this one actually took a lot of hits for a lot of different things that happened to it. So that was the upsetting part of it. These are really thick volumes. Let's see, the original story design is by Ayo Giumanji. Giumanji. Jumanji. And the art is by Mitsumi Okubashi. Yeah, we're getting these names right. So anyway, this is Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash. Um, again, it is a very good one. I actually enjoyed this one a lot. It did have that whole goblin s thing to it, which was a little bit of a weird part for me. When it came down to it. But I love the whole aspect of this. It goes from right when the people wake up into the world, and one person comes to get them. It's like whenever people wake up, there's this magic door that appears in this rock, and they have to go. Um, the person has to come down and get them, and it's basically just in this tunnel, and everybody's just basically laying in there. In their clothes and everything. Not real clothes. It's almost like just these random clothes, and nobody knows how they really got there. But this one is actually based off of a light novel, which actually got to continue. That's the upsetting part, really, for me, is this one only got 3 volumes right here, which is what I hate about it a lot, is because the story was getting so good. And I like how it almost depicts this story of the perfect party that you should have. I think there's a wizard, there's a knight, there's a shadow warrior, there's a rogue, um, some other stuff, a mage. And I like how it really comes down to it because it almost seems like it is a survival manga at points, especially when they come down to it, because the people give you a little sack of money, um, and it's only really enough for you to pay your entrance fee to get a class and for you to buy a weapon. That's really it. You have the option of buying one of the weapons from the people at like the inn, which you can stay there for a very low fee. Um, but usually you have to do something or whatever. You have to keep up killing things and stuff like that. And that's where it really comes in because they go through it. They don't know what they're going to do. They go with this one group of people, and it kind of splits into almost 2 groups. You have this one guy that extorts his party, and everybody thought that he was the cool guy and was going to try and go with him. And then you have this other party of almost people that seem like misfits because the other guy doesn't want them because of something, either their memory doesn't work right or something like that. And the whole party basically gets together and finds out what they're going to do, um, under this one guy, that everybody views as the leader. And he's one of the healers, and they start doing really well. They have their plan. They all figure out we need a party of people, but we need something good. You go do a row, you go do this, you go do that, and you only have one character that actually screwed up. He was supposed to go do something else, and he goes, "I want to be this demon knight guy, and it'll be cooler." And then he finds out more about it. And he's like, "I'm sorry that I took this. It is a little harder, even though he is still like more damage based. It is a little upsetting, I guess, for him at points, because he's got to let like his weapon drink the blood for his demons and stuff, and it's really weird because everybody kind of picks on him about it, like, oh, you had to pick that class, right? Um, but uh, they get to a point where the guy ends up dying, the leader guy. They go into a fight, and he ends up taking, I think, a knife to the back by one of the goblins. They think that they can handle this group. They go into it, they try and do it, and it just goes wrong. Um, so they try and take him out and try and get away and everything. And due to blood loss and everything, he ends up passing away. So they put him down, and they're all kind of muddled and everything. They're like, "What do we do now? There's nothing we can really do. Um, you know, how are we going to do this? We're going to have to figure out how to basically get a healer person into our party." Some of the other people kind of figure out they can do a little bit of healing spells and stuff, but not a lot. And then you get this kind of really grumpy girl that comes into it, which is this one on volume 2. Um, you can't figure out why. We got more little goblins and hobgoblins and stuff on the back. You don't really figure out why she is kind of upset or anything, or why she's got this attitude. Um, you can't figure it out. And she kind of almost has this weird impression of the people of some of the people are not as trusting. Some of the people are wimps. They can't take a hit or anything like that because they take like a few hits and then they're like, oh, heal me. And she's like, no, you don't need that yet. It's not time for that yet. Wait till you take some more and then I'll do it. So she basically protects them from death, but she doesn't protect them from the harm. And you find out that there's actually this big list of stuff with that. She had an old party. They thought they could go into these mines, and they did. And there were kobolds or whatever, the dog men in there. And they try to go defeat them, and there's this random drop monster encounter called, I think, the Thirsty Knives or something. See if they have it on here anywhere. No, but they do have a good depiction of like the kobolds right there. Um, 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 it is called the Death Spots. That's what it is. Um, Death Spots are these like kobolds that actually have like spots on their fur. They're not just a solid color or whatever. Um, so I almost like to think of it like a Dalmatian, even though it's not. Um, but they have to decide this. Death Spots is supposed to be a higher level creature to defeat, and that's how this girl's party got wiped out the last time. So they are trying to figure out how to do this, and long and behold, they go down into this. They're finally starting to get a better party understanding. The girl has accepted them now, all this other stuff. Um, and they go down, and there's this other chance encounter of Death Spots. And then it just kind of comes down to luck through healing, through doing all this other stuff, that this guy has to fight the Death Spots, the rogue guy that was told, you're going to be a better leader than me from the old leader guy that died, and that you're going to have to carry the team. You're going to have to tell them because you're smart, you're really good, and you're a survivor. You need to make the rest of the party survive. So he goes at it. He's usually one of them that he's obviously a rogue, so he sneaks up and does all that. He actually comes down to having to sit there and fight this Death Spots, and he's trying to do it so everybody else can get out of there. And due to his resilience and everything else, he ends up defeating the Death Spots and them understanding that they're such a good party. And that is basically where the manga ends. But if far as I know, this is only like the first two books of the light novel. And so there's way more because I think it goes up to like 10. But this one, honestly, for me, was one of the best ones when it came down to dungeon crawly stuff. Um, things like that, because it was so good and just all the different aspects of it. Um, the worst parts, like I said, when it came down to it, is the fact that it ended. which is why I would probably have to give this one a 4 out of 5, just because they chose to end it at a really, really early time, which I hated. So, anyway, though, I hope you enjoyed this. You really like, if you like fantasy and stuff, that's kind of one of my fortes, but I read everything. And I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.